no pun intended, episode 28. And today is going to be a fun episode because we are going over our SCC bracket. And you guys, we have Smarter Chess on the mic, and Smarter Chess is the guy behind the odds. I agree with him. We were talking about it off camera. This is our favorite online event of the year by far. Matt, talk a little bit about the SCC.
Speed Chess Championship has been the premier online event going back to probably 2016, back when they called it the Grandmaster Blitz Battles. It was really the first event online that had a decent prize fund, and it's just been building year after year. And probably outside of PogChamps, it might be the most watched online based chess event.
Yeah, and when we first met each other, I only like reached out because I knew that you were Smarter Chess, and I've been watching the SCC, and like obviously the stats are all run by Smarter Chess. I'm like, wow, what a small world, and we ended up living like a mile and a half away. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the bracket here, but let's go over the bracket last year. We need to go over game by game or anything, but Chess.com had a contest to predict the perfect bracket. And I don't know how many entries there were, hundreds of thousands probably. And there was one perfect bracket who they will not admit who had the perfect bracket. But we know who had the perfect bracket. Matt, who had the only perfect bracket in all of SCC?
Smarter Chess, perfect bracket.
Oh yeah, so he knows what he's talking about. He has not missed. He's like the Nate Silver 538 of chess. Okay, so how'd you do it?
That was the luckiest bracket of all time, I will say that. But what I do is I create a rating for each of the three segments. So they do 5+1, 3+1, and 1+1 segments. Each segment has approximately 10 games, but it's actually based on a timer. I think it's 60, no, it's 60 minutes, 45 minutes, and 30 minutes, or something like that. So there's about 30 games total. And then after each match, I recalculate their segment ratings. So the segment ratings, that's really, I think, the key to making my predictions. And
Yep.
it's something that I don't think everyone realizes that I do, but it's different than any other rating. So I'm not just looking at chess.com Blitz, FIDE Classical. I'm creating ratings for the Speed Chess Championship only.
Yep. And it's almost like an inside joke on the commentators, like, "Oh, here's a Smarter Chess. He's never wrong."
Yes.
And then like it
Yeah.
always is so close. Like I don't think you've ever been off by more than a couple, like unless there's like a huge outlier. But it's crazy, really, how how accurate your predictions really are. Like, okay, so that was last year. This is this year. Da 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 da. Okay, the 24. What year are we? 2024 SCC. Speed Chess Championship. We are going to go through one by one each match, who we think is going to win. All right, so first up, number one seed Magnus against who?
Juan Min Lee. Wonderful time is his chess.com username. This matchup, I don't think is going to be very close. Wonderful Time's a good player, but I think Magnus is going to crush him. My
Oh, yeah,
prediction is
yeah.
21-7. Yeah, I'm putting Wonderful Time for the win.
21-7 he's putting up. Okay, okay, I'll take it.
Yep.
I think that's going to not be all that close. Wonderful Time is a wonderful blitz player, not as good as Magnus. On board with you. All right, I don't think I'm going to disagree with much, so let's keep going. What's 8 versus 9?
All right, we got Duda in the 8 seed against Aragaisi in the 9 seed. I think this is going to be a fairly close matchup, and Duda has done well in the past. Um, so looking at my rankings, I have Duda kind of sitting in the middle of the pack ish. I have him like the 7 seed, so I create a power seed ranking. Power ranking, he's number 7, but I have
Okay.
Arjun Erigaisi as number 4. I think he's the
Ooh.
fourth strongest player in the whole field. So that's a tough matchup for Duda in round one. I think Erigaisi by about 3 points. What do you think?
Ooh, that's tough. Eric Dicey does seem like the guy. He's world number 4 at this point. But Duda is such a good blitz player. I think he won the world blitz not that long ago. And so he's still a dark horse. I think Aragacy, is that how you said it? Aragacy? I think he is going to uh just beat him by maybe like a game or two. I think this will be very close. So I will
Yep.
take Eric Gacy. Let's see if they're playing 28 games. Let's go 15-13.
I'm good with that. I had 15 and a half, 12 and a half, so very close.
Okay. I think they're gonna play an extra game or whatever.
All right.
Whatever works out to you. Okay, 4 seed versus 13 seed. Who we got?
MVL,
Okay.
and he's eighth in my power rankings
Oof.
against Hans Niemann.
What?
Hans Niemann is in the bracket. I have MVL 15 and a half to 12 and a half.
Okay, so what was the power rankings?
So power rankings was 3 for MVL. I was looking at the wrong row for MVL. Sorry about that, guys. I was looking at, I think, Duda again. 3 for MVL, 5 for Hans. So I have MVL third in the whole tournament and Hans fifth in the whole tournament, and they're going at each other round one.
Okay, so that is a brutal matchup for MVL. So we're thinking MVL is gonna edge out Hans, but Hans got a really terrible pairing round one. I guess as a 13 seed, that's kind of what you get though. So MVL we think is gonna edge it out over Hans, but that is gonna be a one to watch for sure. That's one that's gonna get a lot of coverage. Maybe Hans will shock the world and take down MVL. Uh, that's what actually the one I think I'm looking most forward to, MVL versus Hans.
Me too.
Um,
If Hans wins, can you imagine the fan base? They're gonna go nuts. And I think if Hans can beat MVL, like if I have MVL as the 3 seed, he's probably gonna make it all the way to face Magnus right before
yeah,
the finals.
yep. Okay, so 5 versus 12. Who's up?
Wesley So and Dennis Lazovic.
Ooh,
This is an interesting one. Wesley has been a beast for a long time in the SCC, but he's trailed off a little bit in the last couple years. I think other players have just kind of caught up to him. I have Wesley winning 14 and a half to 13 and a half with a
ooh,
52% chance to win the match.
ooh. So this is a coin flip.
Yeah. And in the power rankings, let me make sure I'm looking at the right rows here. Wesley So is number 8. Lazovic is number 10. So they're both kind of right in that middle of the pack. And I agree. I agree with you. I think it's just a coin flip.
Okay, I think So is going to outclass him here. Lazovic seems just a little too new, a little too raw. So we'll see. I think So is going to beat him by more than this. So I'll give him a slightly bigger margin.
Okay.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. So number 2 is Naka, and he plays Jospum. Is that right?
Yeah. Naka against
Ye-
Jospum.
yes.
It's not as big of a mismatch as Magnus and Wonderful Time. I think Jospum's stronger than Wonderful Time, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty big mismatch. And I think Naka's going to win by about 10 points. I have him at 19 to 9, 91% chance to win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think yeah, Naka's just too strong. Jospum very good though, especially with the increment. So we'll see. I think 5-1 and 1-1 Naka is going to crush, but 3-1 Jospum could maybe hold him even or maybe pick up a game there or something. So yeah,
The
I
hard
agree.
the hard thing though is like the 1+1 is Naka's strongest format. So even though Jospum's good at it, Naka's such a beast at 1+1 as well.
Yeah. Okay, who is 7-10? 7 versus 10, I mean.
We got Nepo in the 7 seed against Nordabek, Abdusatorov in the
How do you
10
spell
seed.
Norderbeck? Is that right? Norderbeck?
I think it's Noderbek.
Oh, no
N O
first R.
D N O D
Okay.
I R B E K.
Okay.
And unfortunately for you, I have Norderbeck winning. So you're gonna have to type his name again or copy and paste. But
Well, I'm not. I'm notice I didn't spell Nepomniachtchi,
yeah,
though I think I could.
it's
Okay,
14 and a
so
half, 13 and a half with
oh, so coin flip.
52% chance.
Okay, so very similar to Wesley. So just a very, very slight edge for Noterbeck. I could see
Yeah.
that one going either way. Okay, just looking at these matchups, I'm so excited for all of them. Though, I mean, I think Hans sticks out, but Nepo versus Noterbeck, that's like another passing at the guard. I love it, and Nepo's super good at blitz. He basically plays blitz when he plays classical.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at all of these matches, passing of the guard is a great way to put it. So, of course, Magnus and Naka, they're expected to blow out their opponents round one.
Yep.
Every other match is like an SCC veteran against an up and comer or a junior player.
Yep, for sure. All
All right,
right,
next we have
so
Faruja, 3 seed,
yeah.
Grischuk in the
Ooh,
14 seed.
that's tricky. So I'm guessing that Frugia is going to be a big favorite here, but Grischuk is no slouch either. But I'm guessing. Okay, let me predict the predictions. I'm
Okay,
guessing Faruja is going to win here 17-11.
I have it closer than that. Grischuk is like one of the OGs of the Speed Chess Championship,
Oh yeah.
but Faruja has underperformed almost every single year. He's 1-3 in the SCC.
Oh.
I have him winning 59%, but it's only 14.5 to 13.5.
Oh wow, so close.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think Faruja goes on tilt sometimes too. So if he has a bad start, look for him to struggle to catch back up.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, and then last matchup, number 6 versus number 11.
Caruana against Serrana.
Serrana. Okay. Who's Serrana? What's his first name?
Alexi,
Alexi Serrana. Okay, I'm not familiar with that guy.
he's a junior player. He might be 21, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Um, he's 0-2 in the SCC, but Caruana has not done well in the SCC. Compared to his classical rating, he underperforms just like Faruja does.
Yep.
Caruana is 4-7 in the SCC. So
Wow.
what do you think for a prediction?
I think Caruana takes it. I'm gonna go 16-12.
I have 14.5, 13.5 again. I have another very close one. It's kind of again that battle of a stronger classical player against someone who's been playing stronger online. And we've seen in the SCC a lot of times when it's close like that, it tends to go to the stronger classical player. They just
Yep.
somehow can outclass their opponent using that extra increment on the clock.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so now we are in the round of 8. So we have Magnus versus Arigasi in top left bracket. This has got to be Magnus. I assume Magnus was number 1 on your power rankings.
Yep, Magnus is number one. Arjun's number four, though. I mean, he's
Yeah.
that far down. But there's a big gap between number one and two and then the rest of the field. I have approximately a 9 point favorite here for Magnus. So we're looking at
Ooh.
that, 19 to 10 type range, I would say.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Magnus is so good at blitz; it's hard to ever bet against him. Um, all right, so MVL versus So. I'm going MVL here. That's my prediction. What do you think?
I'm also going MVL. We got the 3 seed in my power rankings MVL, the 8 seed in Wesley. So Wesley has been struggling the last couple of years, like we talked about. I think this one's about a 7 point favorite for MVL. I think MVL is just that good in the SCC format.
So like an 18-11, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I guess that would be. Oh yeah, that would be 7. All right, then Naka versus Noterbeck. This is another one I'm super excited for, assuming it happens. Um, I am taking Naka obviously, and I'll take Naka like +4 here.
Okay, I have him around +7 based on the ratings, and this is the 2 seed against the 4 seed with my rankings.
2 seed. Oh, so Noterbeck is number 4. Interesting.
Hmm.
So you said you had him +7, so 18-11.
Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong row again, Jesse.
Okay,
Arjun was
sorry.
number 4. Noterbeck is number 9.
Okay.
Uh, actually, I have this as a much bigger win. I think
Okay.
Nakamura has sort of an easy run in the first 2 rounds.
Okay, so what do you have it
Okay,
for Naka?
so I have this as about an 11 point favorite.
Oh, so like biggest of the whole match other than Magnus round 1. So
Yeah.
this is like a uh like 20-9 type of thing,
Yeah, maybe a little smaller than that, but it'll be
somewhere in
close to
that
that
range.
round one 19-9.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard once you get to that like blowout range, which is probably more than a 6 point win. It's very hard to know. But I would say this is another gonna blowout win for Naka. Over
Okay.
90% chance.
Okay, wow. That's surprising to me. Okay, next is Fallujah versus Caruana. Winner faces Naka. Here, I'm going to take Fallujah by a very slim margin, maybe like +2.
Let's see. Yeah, I would say it's maybe +4 based on the stats.
Okay,
Um,
so like a
Caruana
16-12.
could beat him. For both of these players underperform, so it's kind of a battle of who can show up, and whoever shows up might just blow the other player out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Okay, we're down to the final four. On the left side, we have Magnus versus MVL. An iconic upset. I think that was 2 years ago. MVL knocked off Magnus in an insane, crazy match and went on to lose to Hikaru in the finals. Then last year, I don't think they played, but Magnus and Naka made the finals that year. So Magnus and MVL, the historic rematch. Magnus number one seed in Matt's power rankings. MVL number three. Is that right?
Yep, and Naka knocked out MVL last year, and it was
Oh,
I
okay.
think 16.5 to 11.5.
No,
So it
so
was
pretty
like a
big
five
win.
point. Yep. And looking at the stats, I think we're about that territory again. Probably a 5 point win for Magnus is the sort of the average of the predictions. Magnus could easily blow him out, or it might be a close one.
Yeah, I'll take Magnus 17 to 5 or sorry, 17 to 12.
Yeah.
And now we have Naka versus Faruja. If these numbers hold, I'm taking Naka like plus 10 here. I think he just dominates him. I know the numbers aren't going to agree, but Naka has Faruja. He has a soul red. Like in poker, like you just play against someone, you know what they have, you know how they react, you know their tells. I feel like Naka just has Faruja down pat. I think he's going to crush him.
I think you're right. And the stats even kind of agree with you. 8 point win is probably I think it's a blowout. I really don't think Alireza can hang. Maybe for a little bit in the 5+1, but Alireza just struggles so much in the SCC format.
Yeah, and Naka is going to take him to an end game and grind him down every single game. I just know it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you said you had it plus seven or what was it? I missed it.
Yeah, around +7.
Okay, so we'll just call it 18-11 Naka.
Yep.
All right, and the winner by unanimous decision, Magnus versus Naka. Down to the final. I mean, this is a coin flip. It could go either way. Naka won last year. Magnus kind of had his had him on the ropes the first couple times they met, and Naka was just not himself. And so Magnus took those pretty easily. But Naka does not care. He simply does not care. I think he can play Magnus like no one else can. This is going to be an epic match. Who you got, Magnus versus Naka?
I think Magnus, and I'm going by +2 points. I think it's going to be very close, like you said, but I think Magnus gets him this year.
Yeah, I am with you. We'll just call it 16-13 or something like that. Or no, 16-14. Yeah, I could see it happen. It seems like Magnus is just at that level where he's not in the classic scene anymore, at least for the world champion. So I feel like these events mean more to him, and he's not gonna just like fold or whatever. He's gonna really try his hardest to win.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that really stands out to me that I didn't realize until we went through this bracket and actually walked through to the finish,
Yeah.
Magnus has a much tougher road, in my opinion, than Naka. Going through Aragaisi
Oh yeah.
and MVL, in my opinion, is way tougher than going through, who was it, Nordebek and Faruja. I
Yep.
just think they're almost setting Magnus up for a failure before he even gets to Naka. Those last two matches are super tough.
Yep. Those are tough for sure. So do you think Amon Hamilton does any commentary on the Knockout matches? I hope so.
That would be amazing. I hope he does too.
Uh, Maybe in the finals they'll have Amon Hamilton next to Danny Wrench to do the finals, and Naka will just tilt or something.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so those are your predictions. We'll leave them up on the screen in case you want to show us, or so we can come back and compare notes when it's all said and done. So when does this event actually take place, Matt?
I haven't looked at the schedule. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like the first match is in 8 days. So July 25th, I'm seeing Duda against Arjun and Hikaru against Jose, both on the same day, doubleheader.
Nice. Yeah, so this one stretches out a bit too. So I'm looking at the schedule as well. So it looks like the first round is that week. Man, MVL versus Hans. I'm so looking forward to that one. Okay, so the whole first round is done in the first week. Then it looks like they take a week off. Next quarterfinal round is the week after, and then they take a month off and finish it all off. So interesting.
And I believe they might be doing a live finals for this one, if I'm remembering right.
Oh, that would be that'd be very cool.
Yeah, look on the news page. They are on the homepage for the event. Live finals, and they're selling tickets for it too.
Ooh, very cool. That can be fun to go. Maybe we'll sponsor some Chess Goals members to go up.
Oh, that'd
Does
be
it
awesome.
does it say where?
In Paris.
In Paris? Okay, never mind. I'm not going to Paris.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have the budget. Scratch that. Unless you live a train ride away.
Yeah, we will pay for your $9 train ticket if you want
Yeah.
to go. Yeah, we do not have the budget for that. Um, okay, that was our main topic of the day. Thank you all for joining us. Matt, is there any parting words you have for us?
Yeah, today was a great day. It was a day off of work. And for the first time, video recorded some pickleball games. So I could analyze the videos like analyzing a chess game.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice. So, how long were you out there today?
Probably 5 hours. It was quite a
Jeez,
long
dude,
morning.
5 hours of pickleball. That's crazy.
Yep, it
Uh,
was a good day.
that's great. I am still on paternity leave from the baby, so I also had a good day. I just did a ton of yard work this morning. It takes about an hour and a half to mow my yard, then another 20 or so minutes to mow out everything around the garden. So I was out there for quite a while. And then I got back. Uh, Kids had piano lessons, went to coach some baseball tonight, and back to do the podcast. So great day. Sounds like we both are living our best life, Matt.
Yeah, how did the baseball games go?
Uh, Kind of chaotic, but overall good. My older son pitched for the first time tonight. I didn't get to watch him because I was coaching my other son, but yeah, it went well. It's fun. I like coaching.
They pitch overhand, right?
I pitch underhand to my age. I think our group is 5 and 6 years old, 5 and 6 year olds. But then my older son, they pitch. The kids pitch and they pitch overhand. Yeah,
That's a big step. That's awesome.
yeah, for sure. All right, that is going to do it for the podcast. Thank you all for joining. If you made it this far and you want to tell us thank you for putting out a podcast, a like, a subscribe, a rating on Spotify, all of it helps enormously. I haven't told you this, Matt, but our podcast is steadily growing on Spotify. They must be recommending us to more and more people. At the very beginning, our episodes were getting maybe like 30, 40 views, but I think all of our episodes in the 20s, they all have over 100, so that's some nice steady growth, and that's only on Spotify. We also have iTunes and all the other like ones that trickle down too. So it's good to see the podcast finding new ears. So if you want to give us a handshake or a pat on the back, likes and ratings will do that for sure. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.